Folks, Jim Messina, Vintage Drums Talk here once again. It's been quite a while, hasn't it? And you're probably saying, who is that guy? He doesn't have his black hat. He doesn't have his black Vintage Drums Talk shirt. I do have hair, folks. But look, I want to do a quick overview of something very special that I ran across with a special friend of mine that I'm reunited with probably after almost 20 years, okay? And his name is Randy Nordlun. Randy, how you doing, my friend? Man,
nice to see you again, Jim.
It's been a billion years. Randy's changed a lot over the years, and I even got video footage to show you. But Randy has come across a very interesting grouping of antique, really old antique stuff that is just so cool that we want to just go over it real quick here, and then I'll do a better video of it later. But it's really got a lot of provenance, and we're going to start with this picture right here. Now we want you to look at the drums and the drummer, okay? What Randy ran across is this, what we believe to be this actual drum and all the accoutrements, or many of the accoutrements that go with it, okay? So what we're going to do now is show you some of those pieces right here. Randy, tell me the story of how you ran across this particular drum, and he's going to tell you what it is. It's right here.
Well, Jim, I wanted one of these my whole life. Actually, I've been searching for a trapdoor bass drum for quite a while, having owned a suitcase bass drum, loving the history of these things. And it's a typical Craigslist find. I just happened to see this, and the woman had no idea what it was asking an astronomical price. God bless her, because she's ill. She needed to sell her grandfather's drum. His name was Eugene Royal Marshall. Hated his name, so he wanted to go by Roy. We've dated the music on the piano in the photograph at 1921, published Down Under was the name of the tune. So that pretty much dates everything, sort of. And she had all his traps or toys laying in there, and I'm just thrilled to have them. You know, if it wasn't for my back being so bad.
Is your back acting up again?
You know,
yeah.
Anyway, so we're enjoying having these, some of the sound effects that I've been after.
I'll tell you, his neck is a little messed up. Okay.
Yeah, anyway, so some of these things are just a joy to have. She's in tears because she had to sell her grandfather's bass drum due to her health.
But they went to a good place.
I've promised her to restore it faithfully, and we're going to reproduce exactly what's in the photograph and set it up where we're playing in exactly the same positions, just for the joyous task.
Randy, show him this trapdoor, will you?
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. I've never seen anything like this. Well, I mean, the hardware is kind of cheesy at best, but the thing that I find interesting about the drum, other than the fact that it is a trapdoor, is the interior seems to reveal that the reinforcing hoops are made of oak, and the drum itself actually is a 2-ply, it's mahogany, and we're not even sure what the inner ply is, but all the grain runs head to head, which is rather interesting. And so when you look at the details as how they constructed the door, this is just all what I think is just, it's just lovely for
And it's light, it's very light.
Extremely light. Has the original light bulb heater holder in there, which is kind of cool. And what I'm real thrilled about too is the head's immaculate.
It's in good shape,
it's
yes.
in great shape. This drum will be playable. So with that going on, I was thrilled to have it. She's thrilled that I have it because I'll restore it faithfully. And I told her she can come visit it anytime. We'll put it on display and make it a little historical piece. Here's another interesting thing that came with it, the Chinese tom, which is interesting in that it's black and white rather than colored. And there's always a dragon and a rooster. This one has a dragon and a dragon. So I've never seen that. We're debating on whether the gold color is original. It may very well have been black. I have a whole bunch of these. I've done restorations on them. The nice thing is it's the small multi-tack.
These tacks are tiny. I've never seen them like that.
It's got the traditional spring
ceremonial.
That's really nice to have. So this won't be restored. It'll be preserved. And interesting too, Jim?
Well, I mean, it's got all the accoutrements that a vaudeville drummer would need back in those days. Being that it's a trapdoor bass drum, the whole idea of that was to carry these effects inside the bass drum. That's the contraptions. That's where you got the name traps from. But we've seen, tambourines today, but this particular tambourine is very interesting. It's, you wood, but then you have, metal on the outside, which is, what do you think? It's nickel plated.
Solid ply maple with a nickel.
Yeah. Here's the
covering.
grip.
Tapped head
and we've got the
nickel
name.
jingles. And there's his name that he put in there.
E.R. Marshall.
E.R. Marshall.
Calfskin head.
Surprisingly low tone.
We found that it has a lot of bass response to it, but that's an interesting thing along with the tom. But here's something else that goes with the Chinese tom. Randy, tell them about this.
Well, I don't know a lot about it other than this is pretty typical of this era to mount things. The Chinese tom wasn't considered a tom-tom, it's considered an effect drum. And they had to hang it somehow because traditionally they have the little rings on two sides of the drum. So it simply clicks under here and rests on this and hangs. This is a bass drum hoop clip mount, which is typical. Yep. And as well, it's another effect.
Now what we found out what was interesting, this stuff has the standard rust on it and all that, but we're doing just a little inspection on these things and we're finding WALBERG and AUGE, early WALBERG and AUGE, which is the same logo that we have on the suitcase drums that we have, the carry-all WALBERG and AUGE bass drums. All these drums were made so these drummers could get on a trolley car with their stuff. That was their mode of transportation. Hence, they started developing these bass drums that would carry all this stuff. So here's the WALBERG and AUGE, and there's a typical vaudeville
this is how I'm going to treat Jim if he doesn't get out of here now because it's getting late.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
And if you want to get on a train, this would be the All Aboard.
All aboard! I've never seen this. Is great. I mean, this is metal. I thought it was wood at first, but now Randy's got something really. Look at that.
Now I'm more of a drum lover than a player, but I could certainly appreciate this. I don't play well with brushes or sticks for that matter. But these are WFL sock brushes that are made out of split bamboo, which I've never seen. So to me, this is a great little toy to find. Some people might know about these, but I sure didn't.
Yeah, well,
so I'm happy to have this stuff. And one of the last effects is the sandpaper blocks, which I'm assuming were made for making soft shoe dance sounds, or well, I guess whatever's appropriate. These little sticks were meant to just press sandpaper into the grooves, and then for whatever reason, they're doing some kind of soft shoe sound. And last but not least,
now
a cymbal that actually sounds good from that era.
This is a very thick, heavy cymbal. And if you notice, it has the small hole, okay? But it's not like a hi-hat cymbal or anything. No ridges, not spun. If you can, get a good close look at that, ain't a ridge to be seen. But check this out.
Like you can hear that on the cell phone.
I mean, I think that sounds beautiful.
For the era, I've heard some pretty crappy ones, and that was really
no marking on this stick, but if you'll notice, it's not all chewed up because in those days they played more Dixieland style.
Someone's coming in the door.
There's the train again. Another goofy thing that's. Did you say this was made in? Yeah, it says right on it, Germany. Okay. You can see it right there. But all these pieces are just standard drum equipment that the well-equipped drummer needed in those days. Here are the rods that we found that go to the bass drum. They're all straight, but they were painted black. We'll undo that. And here's something interesting that we're just not too sure about. Two of the rods have these little wooden, they're almost triangles, but not. I don't know if they go that way or this way. We're trying to figure out if they were made to hold some sort of trap table or something to hold all these pieces. And they're the only ones that have a wire and a little bit of string on them. Mystery, but again, we've had this a day or two, and we're just looking at it now, so you're gonna see a lot more about this whole setup. We've got the original hoops. We've got this flesh hoop is in great shape. It appears to be in round, right?
Yeah, it's pretty
Okay.
close.
And I'm telling you, we're just really proud to have something like this, because there are other things like this coming your way. You haven't seen some videos from me for a long time, but I was ill for a little while, okay? But you're going to see a lot more.
Jim? We've got a suitcase bass drum.
That's right.
Two of them actually. We're
Right.
reproducing.
And
We're reproducing bass drum spurs from W&A that are made out of unobtainium. So we've actually successfully metalworked ones, and I'm not much to be known as a metal worker since my expertise is composites and finishes. But between Jim and I, we've managed to make a few.
So
and
look,
what else?
here's the thing. The show is coming up.
1940 Slingerland came along.
That's right.
And two kettle drums. Oh my God, you gotta see the kettle drums.
We've
So,
got a pair of
you're gonna tune in and we're gonna keep this
German-made, beat to heck timpani, okay? Randy is in touch with the guy who actually has a set, knows a little about him. This all happened this week. So we're having a blast over here. And if you want to be part of it, just say, I want to be part of the Southwest Florida Vintage Drum Society, okay?
SWF-BDS, of which there are 3 members.
That's
One of them's
right.
running the camera.
Okay, so guys, this is Jim Messina once again, along with Randy Nordlun. You're going to be hearing a lot about Randy Nordlun's Tricks-On collection,
Now,
okay?
don't believe everything you hear.
You guys will not believe this. Wait till the next segment. You're going to see a lot more from all this. We'll keep you up with the restoration. JC Messina here for VintageDrumsTalk.com.